All right, today we are going to be looking at the Holy Grail of Trading. That's right. In the next few minutes, I'm going to teach you the exact Holy Grail of Trading. Now, it didn't come from me. It actually came from one of my mentors, one of the market wizards, one of the very best traders of all time, just released a video on YouTube called the Holy Grail of Trading. Now, listen, I'm all about winning. I hope you're all about winning. Let's win together by watching this together. And we're going to play Big Money Bingo while he teaches us the Holy Grail of Trading. So let's get set up here for Big Money Bingo, and we will watch this together as I zoom in a couple things real quick to make this easier to see. As we go through, what I need you to do in the chat is tell me what you see, which one of these items here on the bingo square that we need to light up as we all learn together, as Marc Minervini explains, the Holy Grail of Trading. I'm very excited for this.
Okay, everyone. Today I want to talk about the Holy Grail in trading and do an illustration to bring home a point of what trading is about, what speculation is about. So we're going to start off with this graph here, assuming that this point right here, this is representing your buy point, okay? And the upside is infinity. Of course, a stock can go up. There is no cap.
I feel like Marc didn't put his presenter voice on for this video. Marc, you have to put presenter voice on for the videos, for the YouTubes. Don't you understand? By the way, this has over 100,000 views in 6 days, right? That's how good this video is. But buy point here. Let's say you're buying anything, right? In fact, let's go over to one that we bought last week, Civi, right? Let's say that he's talking about specifically this opening spot that we put on Civi on Wednesday, July 29th, right? Let's say you get in right here. Let's just imagine that we're having a market wizard talk to specifically us about specifically this trade. When you put it in that mindset, when you put it in that frame right here, this can change your life. All right. If that sounds good to you, type in the word change your life in the chat, right? We want to make sure that we are listening to people who have done this, listening to people who have actually had success in the markets. Don't listen to random guys on the internet. Listen to people who are actually successful.
On how much a stock can go up. And of course, downside is to zero. A stock can go to zero, right? So you have infinity on the upside, zero on the downside, losing all your investment from the buy point, of course. So now let's assume that from that buy point, whatever it is, whether it's from a specific technical setup, whatever that buy point represents, let's assume that 50% of the time the stock is on the positive side and 50% of the time it's on the negative side. Now, there are times where it's going to be on the negative side, maybe a lot less than the positive side, and it'll go negative and then positive, right? And vice versa. So, but just let's assume that 50% of the time, the stock spends its time on a positive side and a negative side, right? So this just represents what the price did after the buy point. Right? Just think of that as representing what the price did after the buy point. Now, your goal is not to try to come up with some type of strategy that figures out where the...
I'm going to give you entry signal to start us off, since he's talking about buy points.
These peaks are going to be, how much the stock's going to go up.
Okay. I'm gonna back up slightly because he just said something really important. Tell me in the chat what he said really important here in the next 10 seconds. Listen closely.
Your goal is not to try to come up with some type of strategy that figures out where these peaks are going to be, how much the stock's going to go up, or...
Okay, what did he just say? What is something that we say on a consistent basis, right? What did he just say as part of the Holy Grail of Trading? Albertone has no target prices. Very good. Very good. Not to set profit targets. Exactly. Having no prediction for where the stock is going to go. Exactly. No expectations. That's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. No expectations. Yeah. Because we have no idea where it's going to go. This is coming directly from the mouth of a market wizard, 2-time US investing champion. Do not set profit targets. Do not set expectations on where the stock is going to go at all. I know it sounds crazy, but I want to win, right? You need to make sure you're following your plan, not necessarily following what the outcome will be. Can we use anything on here? Can we put any sort of bingo on here? Here, we'll do don't predict. I feel like that's perfect. Do not predict.
Or even end up with, maybe a stock that keeps going up for a lifetime, right? You can buy a stock maybe at a certain price and hold it for the next 20 or 30 years, and it never goes below your buy price. Okay, that's obviously some type of long-term investment idea, but we're talking about trading on a regular basis and optimizing your trading so you're getting the biggest return in the shortest amount of time, and you're able to do it consistently. That's the main thing, is to do it consistently. And to do that, what you have to do is figure out what you can capture when the stock is on that positive side. And now these numbers could be 80-20, it could be any numbers. I'm using 50-50 as, basically the flip of a coin, that you're right half the time, you're wrong half the time. That's
okay. We're gonna do a few of these because I see Manny a couple times. He put I1. I didn't hear it, but I'll let you have it. And B4, we already got that one. Jonathan says, he said I4, trade what you see. Yeah, absolutely trade what you see. Very, very good. Look at this. We're learning together. Somebody's going to win big money bingo. And we're learning directly from one of my mentors, Marc Minervini, the market wizard, right? Here we go.
It's been my average between about 45 and 50% profit.
45 to 50% win rates. Okay. Just last week, I put out a video absolutely ripping people. A lot of people in the Discord. Because they feel like every single trade, when it goes on, it has to go vertical, right? If it's not up 10, 15, 20% by the end of the day that they put it on, they messed up. And I'm here to tell you, one of the market wizards, two-time US investing champion, one of the greatest traders of all time, just told you his win rate is between 45 and 50%. So if you think that you are Jesus and the only thing that happens is you put on trades and you make money, you will not be in this game for very long because you will blow up your account. Now, how does that make sense? Because if you don't plan to take losses, you should plan to just be out of the game. If you don't plan to take losses, just plan on going bankrupt because you're going to hold these trades because I'm not going to sell it for a loss. And it's going to go down and down and down and down and down. And another thing that's happened too recently, I saw this on the Discord, by the way, I'm calling y'all out. A lot of people saying, you know what, I'm not going to listen to these stop loss points anymore because like HPE, KTOS, NVIDIA, they just pop back up. Once they go down, they pop right back up. So what's the point of even having the stop loss? If I don't take the stop loss when it's given to me and I just hold it a little bit longer, I'm going to be profitable anyway. Also, the fastest way to blow up your account. Because while that may work a couple times, unfortunately, what's going to happen is you're going to create bad habits. And when you create these bad trading habits, you're going to set yourself in a way where you're like, well, last time it worked, it should work this time, right? And then your account is going to get absolutely monkey hammered. You're going to get absolutely dominated and you're going to blow out. And you need to have consistency and discipline if you even think you're going to be part of this game. If you think you're going to have any sort of duration in this game, you must have consistency and discipline. You must trade what you see because you can't see tomorrow, right? Do not even try to predict. Do not even try to predict after you get your entry signal. Okay, keep going.
Profitable trades over a long period of time, my career. And if you can be right 50% of the time, you should do very well. If you follow the formula of capturing the gain, right? Figuring out what gain that you can capture while the stock is on that positive side versus what cost, as far as cutting your loss and keeping your risk contained, what cost is it going to take to be able to capture that upside and have a relationship that is profitable, that you have an edge? I want to have a 2-to-1 profit to a risk relationship. But let's start with a 3-to-1. All right. That's what I really prefer, is to have a 3-to-1. So let's say you're able to capture 15% gains on the upside on average. Okay. This is all on average. Not every trade is going to be 15%, but on average, your winners are 15% profits. And to do that, you're able to keep your losses contained at 5% and not choke off that other half of the equation to get that 15%, right? So now you have a 3-to-1. So for every dollar that you're risking, you're making $3. So if you're right 50% of the time, you obviously would want to be able to make this bet as often as possible. And
exactly. Cut your losses. Cut your losses here. I'm trying to drag out the bingo, by the way. That way we can like climax at the bingo point, right? Who doesn't want to climax at the bingo point? So here's the deal, right? When you're looking at a trade, and let's say you have a 50-50 win rate, 50-50 win rate. Like let's imagine here, we're going to flip this quarter. One of my props that I like to use is quarter from 1995, I believe. 1990. All right, this quarter is older than a lot of you watching this right now. At this quarter from 1990. Let's say that if it lands on head, you lose $5. But if it lands on tails, because I'm a tails kind of guy, if it lands on tails, you make $15. How many times would you flip this? Tell me in the chat. If every time it lands on heads, you lose $5, and every time it lands on tails, you win $15. How many times? Just approximate. Just give me an approximation. How many times would you flip that? I'm just curious, right? What I would do is I would build some sort of flipping machine, and I would flip that shit constantly. I would be flipping it billions of times, like Philip says. I would flip it forever. Tails never fails, Launchpad, exactly, right? Over and over, always tails. Always tails. And Dr. J said something actually really important here, right? You need to stay away from recency bias. Just because you won your last trade doesn't mean you're going to win this trade. Just because you lost your last trade doesn't mean you're going to lose this trade, right? And you also need to stay away with that with recency bias, right? Talking about how if you didn't cut your loss and it happens to bounce up, right? This is better time. This is a better time to back test to see if that would actually been more profitable. Well said. You need the data to prove it, right? Georgia said she would flip that shit till her thumb fell off an infinite number of times all day, baby. From Scott. Yeah, I would flip the shit out of it. Exactly. Imagine that's your trading. Right now, here's the deal. Not every trade you put on will lead to that outcome. We know this. That is why we create an edge with mathematical probabilities, because we know we will take losses. We cannot control how big our wins will be, but we have 4 possible outcomes: a big win, a small win, a break even, and a small loss. I learned that from Steve Burns. 4 possible outcomes. The 5th possible outcome, a big loss, should never happen. Are there times where a loss is bigger than you want? Yeah, it's happened to me recently as well. But also, my wins have been astronomically bigger than those losses, right? I may have lost 57% on one of my options recently, but I can point to at least a dozen where I've made over 100%, right? So I'll take one 50% loss for multiple greater than 100% wins all day, every day. This is how trading is done.
Roll this over as many times as possible. So imagine if you had a coin, and it, of course,
there we go. Okay, sorry, I didn't mean to lead him like that.
Of course, it's 50-50. A coin flip is 50-50. And let's say when you hit heads, you got paid $3, and when the coin landed on tails, you lost $1.
Okay. Obviously, great minds think alike. I did not watch this ahead of time. My apologies for stealing his thunder there.
Wouldn't you want to flip that coin as much as possible? Right? You'd want to flip that coin as much as you possibly could, because you have an edge. And if you were able to flip that coin 100 times, you're going to make a heck of a lot more money than if you flipped it 10 times. And if you flip it 1,000 times, you're going to make a whole lot more money than you flip it 100 times. And the more you flip it, the more likely that scenario is going to come to fruition, because now the probabilities are going to distribute, right? So let's say that you're only right 40% of the time, right? You're right 40% of the time, and 60% of the time you're on the losing side. Okay, so now that's a 3-to-1 reward to risk ratio. But when you adjust it for your batting average, and to do that, you simply take your percentage, right? Your percentage gain times your percentage of winning trades, divided by your percentage loss, times the percentage of losing trades. So this, now that would come out to 2 to 1, right? You'd still be a 2 to 1 trader. So if you were capturing 15% gains and you were losing 5% and you were only right 4 out of 10 trades, 40 out of 100 trades, you'd still be making $2 for every dollar that you risk. And again, you'd be making a fortune if you can do that and turn that edge over. So now,
so what Marc just described is having less than 40% win rate. Less than 40% win rate. You can still become fabulously wealthy, create generational wealth. But you can only do that if you're following a plan. If you're just grabbing a stock at random, if you don't have an entry and exit signal already defined ahead of time, if you haven't already decided I'm willing to risk this much to find out if I'm right, if you can't follow that plan to just let it run as far as it can till you get your exit signal, or cut your loss as soon as you possibly can if you get your exit signal, right? Both of those points are exit signals, right? When you exit a giant win or if you exit a stop loss, both of those are exit signals, which is why when you see me trade live here on YouTube for free, I have no emotions about the exit signals because they mean nothing. They mean nothing. It should impact you as much as if you were flipping this quarter and you knew your losses would be $5 and your wins would be 15. Would your emotions change? No, not at all. Because you know approximately at the end of the day, if you flip your quarter X number of times, how much you should come out with, because that is your statistical edge. That is your mathematical proven edge, which is why I love using that Monte Carlo tool, because I know at the end of the day, even when I have losses, I'm still going to be fabulously more wealthy. I would be tremendously more wealthy at the end of the year than I was at the beginning of the year. Joe Biden wishes he could be this wealthy because my edge works. Does your edge work? Do you even have an edge? How do you know you have an edge? By backtesting, by looking at the data you've already taken on trades, and then proving to yourself you can follow that plan. That's why I have so much confidence in what I do. That's why when I see people losing their minds on Discord because the trade doesn't go vertically, like, it just irritates me. It just frustrates me because it's like, listen, I'm giving you a plan that has a statistical edge. The software is built to make your life way easier. The software is built literally to help you save time, make money, start winning with less risk. Yet you come to the table and act like if it doesn't go vertical, your world will end on every single trade. Most of y'all are not going to make it by the end of the year. I'm being very honest here. And that sucks. Sucks for you, not for me. It sucks for you because you haven't figured out how to have a consistency and disciplined plan. Have a disciplined plan that you can follow consistently. You're always chasing something. You're always trying to find some other random guy on the internet says, hey, I need to buy this stock because it's going to go up. I need to buy this meme coin. I need to see it go up. Edwin says, I've never seen you trade. Let's see, bro. Hey, do me a favor. Everyone else in the chat, tell Edwin how it's been going. Just go ahead. Tell Edwin how it's going. By the way, Edwin, live twice a day, every day. Welcome to the show.
Trading is trying to figure out to get the biggest gain and to capture these peaks or to buy at the lows. That's virtually impossible and it's unnecessary. And it may not be optimal. Here's the key. You're not looking for the biggest gain, right? You're not looking for necessarily the largest gain. That may sound counterintuitive. Why would I want to have the largest gain? Well, because the largest gain may cost you an opportunity cost. So let's just take a look at, I should actually say 1 times 100%. So if you were to have one stock that went up 100%, obviously that would be 100% return, correct? If you were to buy 4 stocks that went up 20%, and you compounded that, you bought a stock, it went up 20%, you bought another stock, you took that money, went up 20%, or whatever, 4 trades, you'd be up 107%, just about the same as the 100%. So if you found 8 stocks or 8 trades that went up 10% and you compounded those, you'd be up 114%. So the question is, first of all, which one is easier to find?
Okay, to Mark's point, right? If you're looking, how many stocks are you going to find that are going to go up 75%? Now, I love this lesson from Mark. I remember specifically learning this from him, right? How often are you going to find trades where it goes up 75%? Like, that's a really hard trade to find, super hard trade to find. But imagine you could find 4 trades that go up 20%. Now, that's a lot more common, right? Granted, still difficult to find. Still difficult to find how many trades can go up 20%. But if you could find 4 of them, probably a lot easier than one trade that'll go up 75%. Because at the end of the day, we have no idea how far it's going to go up. But if you could find 8 trades that go up just 10%, now remember, 10% is quite a lot. But it's a lot easier to find one that goes up 10%, 2 that goes up 10%, 3 that goes up 10%, compared to how many go up 20%, compared to how many go up 75%. This is the important part of trading here, right? We're not trying to capture every peak. We're trying to capture the 80% in the middle, right? The bottom 10% of a move and the top 10% of the move are the absolute hardest to catch. But the 80% in the middle, the meat in the middle of your sandwich, that is a lot easier to catch and a lot more frequent to happen. That's what we're trying to pick, right? That's what we're looking for all the time. We know FOMO says N5. Yeah, why not? I'll give you N5. Somebody's definitely going to go home with a bingo, by the way. I'll give you N5.
Is it easier to find a stock that...
But, Corey had a good question. Do you offer any type of training or university? Corey, that's something I've been working on. In fact, I like to call it OVTLYR University.
Are you ready? Let's go!
Respect is earned. Respect is never given.
That's right. For everyone watching, and even you, Edwin, I actually go live every Tuesday and Thursday with a group of traders, teaching them specifically everything that I know about trading. Now, these traders have only been with me for, I think it's 12 or 13 classes so far, and some of them are up 60% year to date. Some of them have made multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars in the 12 or 13 lessons I've already given them, right? And the best part about this, Edwin and everyone else watching, is that it is 100% money back guarantee because it's free here on YouTube, right? I'm going to teach you everything you'd ever want to know about trading free here on YouTube every Tuesday and Thursday afternoon live. And the replays come out Wednesday and Friday morning. Now, here's the other thing, right? 50% of you will watch this passively. You're not going to listen. It's going to go in one ear and out the other, and it's not going to make any difference in your life. 25% of you are going to actively listen, but you're not going to implement it the correct way. Or maybe you happen to take one loss and you're like, this guy, Chris, doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm going to move on to the next shiny object, right? But the other 25% of you are going to pay attention, you're going to implement it, and you're going to create generational wealth in the process. And the best part about it is it's all free on YouTube. Now, why do I do this? Because I love the game. I love the game so much. The fact that I can share my passion for this game with you gives me the greatest joy of all. And of course, you got to be sure you sign up for OVTLYR, right? It's only 82 cents a day. Or if you're on the monthly plan, you can upgrade with one click and save 64% off the regular monthly price. Now, the reason that we have OVTLYR is exactly to help you save time, make money, and start winning with less risk. So selfishly, I want you to get OVTLYR. Selflessly, I love the game so much. So it's a perfect marriage there. All right, let's finish out this video for Mark.
It goes up 100% or 20%. Obviously, 20% would be easier than 100%, and 10% would be easier than 20% because almost every stock goes up 10% many times per year. So now, how many opportunities are you going to have in a period of time? And that is where we go back to figuring out the optimal level versus the risk versus the maximum level. Maximum level is not what you're looking for. You're looking for the optimum level so you can turn that edge over as many times as possible. And that is the Holy Grail.
Okay. So to Mark's point, having that edge, right? And let's even talk about edge. Let's make this bigger. Let me pull up my 25 results real quick. In fact, I want to go a little bit deeper. I want to pull out the Monte Carlo simulator. And okay, let's go over here. So this is my current year-to-date returns. Yeah, like I was mentioning earlier, I did take a couple losses and they hit me right there. However, I'm still up great for July, thanks to my open trades, right? Still up amazing. Still up 10% in July. That's awesome. Up 13% in June, up 24% in May. I have one losing month of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Of the 6 months I've traded, only one was a losing month, and it was down 1.68%. Okay. This is how trading is done. You sit in cash and don't F up. That's one of our mantras on this channel. You don't do anything until you have your trade in place. And then you put on as many trades as you can that fit your setup. And then you wait and you put on as many trades as you can that fit your setup. And you put on as many trades that fit your setup. And every once in a while, you might have a drawdown. But that doesn't make you a loser. It doesn't make me a loser, right? And I'm about to hit new all-time highs in the account, even though I lost a couple trades. It's part of the game. If you can't build this into your system, you will never be successful, right? Now let's talk about this. My average win is at 44% on options. My average loss is 25%. I have almost a 2-to-1 risk return with a greater than 60% or greater than 50% win rate. So let's go back to the coin flipping example. If you could win $44 every time it lands on tails, lose $25 every time it lands on heads, and let's round it. Let's say you have a 60% win rate. That is generational wealth that can be created. Generational wealth from a coin flip. Because 60% of the time, you're going to be winning. When you win, it's going to be nearly 2-to-1 the size of your losing. How cool is that, right? How cool is that? Now, I want to pull out the Monte Carlo Streamulator here. Streamulator. By the way, if you haven't typed in #OVTLYR, you're not going to win Big Money Bingo. And somebody's about to win it in just a moment. Somebody's about to win Big Money Bingo in just a moment. Jim's in. Jim's entered. By the way, that's an awesome profile picture. I love it. Okay, cool. Let's go back over here. Win rate, 59.38%. 59.38%. Average win, 44.26. 4426. Average loss, 25.94. By the way, every single one of these trades here on YouTube. In fact, here's my 2024 and 2025 results, right? 2024, I had, I believe I need to put the total number on here. 2024, my expectancy was 7.69. My actual returns for the year were like 91.37, I believe. In 2025, my expectancy, my edge is 13.10. Which is nearly twice as much as the 2024 expectancy, right? And you combine those, the expectancy between the last 2 years is 9.74%. That means on average, I don't know if each trade is going to be a win or each trade is going to be a loss. I don't know individually, but on average, every single time I've made a trade in the last 2 years, my average return every single time has been 9.74%. Meaning every single time I take a trade, it has averaged this outcome. I don't know what's going to be individually, but on average, this is where it comes to. Isn't that cool, right? Doesn't that give you confidence to trade when you know, hey, you know what? On average, over the last 2 years of data trading with OVTLYR, nearly 10% on every trade I put on. Now, this Monte Carlo does thousands of simulations to give you an idea of where, in fact, I don't know if I hit run, to give you an idea of how your trades would turn out over the course of these thousands of simulations, right? My absolute worst, and this doesn't even compound, this is linear growth, right? If you can compound it, this is like exponential to the moon growth, right? My worst case outcome is wildly profitable at $379,000. Now, this is on average win of 4,400 and average loss of 2,500. This is not giant, huge numbers here, but it pulls out at the end of the year, huge numbers. So that's my worst case outcome. My worst case outcome is being wildly profitable. My average outcome, $575,000. My best case outcome, $773,000. But what I look for is, how is my worst case outcome going to be? What will my worst case outcome be? Wildly profitable. That is when you know you're ready to trade. When you can use the math, come up with the historical data. Don't just pull this out of your backside, right? Get the data to prove that you can do this. Then run it through a Monte Carlo simulator. It's literally free on YouTube. Just type one in, or even ChatGPT would do it for you, right? Put in your average win, your average loss, and your win rate. Look at the outcomes. And if your worst case scenario is being wildly profitable, then you're ready to trade. But as great as that is, you're not going to win unless you are consistent with that, right? So let's give you the final bingo. I'm going to say, I'm going to give you a handful. I'm going to give you momentum. I'm going to give you buy the dip. I'm going to give you follow your plan, and I'm going to give you one last one. Exit signal. Right, there you go. Somebody got a bingo out there. Outstanding. Who's it going to be? Who is going to win big money bingo? By the way, we're going to ship you a $10 Amazon gift card just for you watching live and hitting #outlier. Who's going to be the winner in 3, 2, 1? All right, who's going to be? Do y'all love big money bingo? If you love bingo, do me a favor, type in the chat, type bingo, bingo, because I think it is so much fun. I think it is so much fun. The winner is SG. SG. That is a super not specific username. Do me a favor, SG, because I want to make sure you're watching live right now. Type I'm a winner in the chat. Only SG. Type in I'm a winner in the chat. Here's the deal. I don't know who SG is, but SG, if you're watching right now, head on over and send an email to support@outlier.com. We want to send you a $10 Amazon gift card, but it's not like what's the name on here? Anthony Johnson, right? It's a little bit harder to know who SG is. So SG, send us an email at support@outlier.com, and none of you other people try and catfish as SG. I'm gonna text this over to April real quick. All right, very cool. Outstanding work, everybody. Outstanding work, and congratulations to SG is I'm a winner. SG, hurry before somebody else tries to catfish you. Send an email over at support@outlier.com. Thank you all so much for coming today. I hope that you've enjoyed this. If you have, the best way that you can pay me back is by telling everybody you know about Outlier. And if you're ready to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk, click one of these 2 videos. Have a fantastic day. We'll talk soon.